if I'm not pushing, if I'm not chasing something bigger, then what's the fucking point? This restaurant every day has to be better than it was the day before. Never just being satisfied. It's not a fucking thing. It does not exist. I could never think of anything worse than me just standing there being satisfied with how it is. It's like I'd just walk out. I would never come back in this kitchen. First time I walked into a kitchen, it was a pub in the northeast called 7 Stars in Shinckley, and it was carnage. It was so busy, you know, and you can't literally make a mistake, because if you make a mistake, it's fucked. The whole thing just piles down on top of it like pack cards. I have a thing where I give 100%, 100% of the time on nothing at all. So if I was going to be a chef, I wasn't going to be average. I had to go all the way, or it wasn't worth doing. I always tell my guys now, you've got to learn how to be in the shit. You need to be in a situation where you're so deeply in the shit, you need to get out of it. So back in that pub, it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. That guy's just asked me to cook a duck breast. I don't even know what duck breast is. Whatever it is, I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna cook it. When you do start getting better, it becomes like an addiction, doesn't it? Like a drug. You're living on this adrenaline, you thrive off the feeling. You want to push it further and further and further. It's like a curse. It does my fucking head in. So we're going to do lamb with apricot and cumin, with a little lamb sauce. Dead simple, just small plates. Tuna, steamed bull, jalapeno and QP. Madai matched dog, so rice cooker. Tartar we'll make with machi and madai, dice them up. Then we'll fold into water with some tari on top of the rice. I got told you need to get into a Michelin-Star kitchen. I didn't even know what a Michelin-Star was. You know. So I left the pub in the northeast and I went down to work in a restaurant called Hambleton Hall. And I walked through the back door and I was just literally stopped in my tracks. There was just chefs walking around in pristine, clean whites with white aprons and hats, and the place was just beautifully lit. And this kitchen was on fire with noise and smells that I've never smelled before. And I remember tasting things and going, that is unbelievable. I need to know how to cook that. That's when I realized this is what a Michelin star meant. Like, you hit this level and you've made it. You've proved yourself. At that restaurant, I did start developing my own ideas. So you talk about an 18-year-old boy who's trying to create something. I wonder if I tried that with that. He wants to put everything on a dish. If you give him this table here with 100 ingredients on it, he would put all 100 on a dish. He's just grabbing stuff. He doesn't know when to stop, he doesn't know how to stop, and he has no idea what he's doing. But back then, you're young, immature, and you're like, yeah, I'm amazing at this, you know what I mean? There's a big difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogant people aren't very confident at all, and you're overcompensating for the fact that they think they're fucking shit. So I did what every young person who is fucking cocksure of himself and thinks that they're amazing does, and decided I was good enough to be a head chef. And I found out very quickly I wasn't nowhere near good enough. The food was too complicated, super technical fine dining food. Plates come out with 1 million ingredients on it, half of them probably didn't need to be there. The customers didn't want it. It wasn't going to work. It was never going to work, you know. And that's not just cooking, that's everything. Because as a head chef, you've got to be a businessman. You've got to be a fucking boss. You've got to be a friend. You've got to be a dad. You've got to be the villain. I was just not ready for it. Just thought, I'm fucking shit. I can't do this. I need to get out of it. I left my job. Yeah, and I realised that I had a lot to learn. I felt lost. I'd pushed as hard as I could, and it hadn't worked. I had no clue what to do next. Luckily enough, I knew Sat Baines, I had restaurant Sat Baines in Nottingham. At that moment in time, Sat Baines was in the forefront. Everyone was watching him. He was the most talked about restaurant in the UK at the time. He was going for his second Michelin star. It was on fire. It was at its most creative. You know what I mean? The guy's obsessed with food, just completely obsessed. And he caught wind of me out of work, and he rang me and went, "Hey, you need a job?" I was like, "Yeah." He went, "I want you in the restaurant in 20 minutes. And I went in and he said, "There's a sous chef's job available here, and I would quite like you to take it." And I was like, "Yeah." He says, "Right, I'll see you on Tuesday." That is undoubtedly the hardest kitchen I've ever been in my life. I'm quite classically trained, so in the classical world of cooking, that's the recipe. Don't ever think about changing it. Going to Sats, that circle there where you're not allowed to step out of, he'd be right out here on his own. And constantly craving creativity. You know, he makes you think, he doesn't give you an option. When you're taught for such a long time the rules of cooking, and then you find out all of a sudden that there is really no rules, that opened up my brain to, wow, there's no limits to this. It lit that fire again, that ambition. 3 and a bit years, I'd built myself back up again. I dragged myself out the hedge, dusted myself off, and I got myself in a place where it was like, I'm ready now. One day, I got a phone call saying, "Do you fancy moving to Wales?" What, all the way over there? Not a chance. You know what I mean? I'm not moving over there, there's nothing there. He said, "It is perfect. There's an unbelievable opportunity just come." I was like, "Right, okay, what is it?" He's like, "I can't tell you, it's like really secret at the moment." And I remember the journey here just blew my mind. And then I got to the end of the drive and drove in, and it was like a bit of a sleeping giant. And I was like, I'm having this job today, because this is just an unbelievable place to be. There was no handover between me and my ex-chef, the head chef here. He walked out and I came in. So I winged it from day one. I had to open my fridges and see what was in there and write a menu on the spot. And then it started. That time of my life was a big blur. I absolutely 100% submerged myself into this building. We became one. And I was working 24/7. I had no reason to go home. So it was just like everything I was doing was this place. That's the only thing I was doing, was just this building. Every day I was learning more, every day I was pushing. I had 1,000 projects going on. I was fermenting every different vegetable I could get my hands on. You know, I was making every different bread I could possibly think of. I was pushing myself every single day. But I was ready. I was hungry. It was my time. And then quite quickly, the spotlight became on us, and it was like, wow, there's something really cool going on over there. We managed to get a star in our first year, which was unbelievable. You know, that blew my mind. From that point, every year when the Michelin Guide came out, I was like, Ynyshir is going to get 2 stars. And then you get there and it doesn't happen, and you're like, right. And after a little while, it actually gets to you a little bit. You know what I mean? Inside a little bit, you start to like believe maybe it's not good enough. And I'd wrote it off big time. I thought, you know what, it's not happening now. And then the COVID situation happened. All of a sudden, we had no customers. But I still had a kitchen. I had freezers full of ingredients. I was desperate to start cooking again. I hated it. And I got the menu and I ripped it up and went, that's finished, that's done. When we come back, I want to be a different restaurant. We just completely redeveloped this whole place. We stripped everything out and we painted it all black. We made it ours. During that period, I had time to think, really think about what I wanted. I realized that there's no such thing as perfect. It will never exist, ever. You know, there's no such thing as like, I'm satisfied, I'm happy with that, because it doesn't exist. It's not a thing. It's impossible to please everybody, so I'm just going to please myself. I'm stripping back on everything now. I'm taking stuff off dishes. Instead of putting all them ingredients on this plate, I'm putting them back on the front table. I don't want that anymore. I just want that. You know what I mean? Because that's class. You know, and it's having that respect for an ingredient. You think about absolutely everything. The salt you use, you know, can we get better than that? Yeah. The soya sauces, the mirins, the sakis. Right, okay, well, we do our research and we find the best mirin in the world, in our opinion. The best sake in the world, the best sugar, the best miso. Okay, so now that that tastes fucking incredible, what's next? And we just constantly search it. And then it got to the point where I thought, I've truly understood what I want to do. I'm really gone. That's it. So my food I cook is the food I fucking love. That's what I put on the plate every day. Hopefully you come and fucking love it, but it's not for you as a customer. It's for me. Because that just means that you can serve a beautiful piece of the most incredible hamachi that we can find that's been aged in the salt chamber for a week. I've taken it off the bone in front of the customer, I've sliced it, I've given it a little smoke, and I've put this beautiful egg custard on top and given it to you straight away. But everything about that tiny little mouthful of food is being fucking ridiculed. It's so complex. There's so much going on, there's so much like knowledge, and it's not easy to achieve that. That's not simple. Somebody ever comes up to me and goes, that sauce is wrong, you can't make it like that. I'm like, well, no, you're wrong, because I'll make that sauce however the fuck I want to make it, mate, because it's mine. A year later, I got a phone call from a French lady in Paris. Your name is just on a list of names I've got to call today, and I'm calling you now, and, you know, are you free?
I have a great news to share with you is Ynyshir has been awarded 2 stars.
Yeah, the most incredible feeling in the world. I was so proud. I'm very honoured to have it, and I'm super proud of me and my team for getting it. But that's not what we're searching for. We're driven by our passion for what we do and what we love. Constantly wanting to push and wanting to learn. You can't ever just be satisfied. We can only do what we love and do it to our full potential. Like, give it everything. And the day I wake up and go, I don't fancy it today, that'll be it.